Hey guys, Philosopher here, and I want to talk to you about what needs to be changed in Marvel Strike Force. Some feedback that I've been giving the developers directly about the game. And then I want to talk to you about a conversation that I had over Discord this past week with the creative director of MSF, Jason Bender. And I really appreciate him taking the time out to do it. I'm not going to give you his side of the conversation. I'm going to tell you that up front. So there's no hard feelings there. I didn't get his permission or tell him that I was going to share his words, so I'm not. But I'm going to share with you what I told him. I'm going to show you the DMs and the words. Exactly, not DMs, but it was in a DM conversation on Discord. I'm going to show you kind of what I told him and lay it out for you and what I think is kind of an overall problem with the game. One thing I want to just say to you up front is that I'm very concerned right now about the health of the game. And what concerns me the most is seeing very experienced players who are like high on this list, who've invested an insane amount in this game, leaving the game. People who've spent years of their lives in this game, leaving. People who've created a lot in our community. I've had, for example, Voltage Sauce, who runs the beginner Discord and founded that. He's leaving the game. One of the founders of the Tahiti Discord, the community hub, is leaving the game. One of the leaders of a top 5 alliance in this game in terms of TCP is leaving this week. Just a massive exodus of players from this game right now. And I think that one major problem, there's a lot of problems with this game. I'm not going to pretend that this is the only problem. But one major problem with this game is it is not conducive to having a real life if you want to actually get into and play this game in any sort of serious way. There are things that are built into this game that are much more conducive to sitting in your house because of COVID and there being a pandemic and you can't go anywhere, you can't do anything, and you're just sitting in front of a screen anyway, than they are to like moving around and having stuff to do and having to take your kid to a soccer game, having to go to the dentist, having to go to class if you're in college or something. And the reality is, right now in Arena, the way the arena is set up, you have to be there exactly at the time of payout, right? The rewards are such that only one guy a day is going to get this, and he has to be the person who attacks with 1 second left, right before payout. So you have to literally be there at payout. If you're getting your haircut at, let's say for my arena chart, 5 o'clock, you miss out. There's no reason why this couldn't be based on your average rank throughout the day. And I literally have given this feedback to the developers. It would be so much less silly. We wouldn't have all the collusion and locking out all those problems if it was just based on on your average rank, right? Because you could just do your attacks whenever you had time. I think it's absurd, by the way, that I'm literally setting my alarm every 2 hours to blitz in this game. I missed a rotation today. Why? Because I went to the gym. And worked out. Why is it that I have to have this like a job? Like every 2 hours, I got to pull my phone out. Now, at least now I can sim it and I don't do it manually. But why does it need to be that way? Why can't it be 4 rotations a day that you do when you have the time to do it, or 2 or 3 rotations a day? Why is it that I have to be so focused on not capping out this energy? Why can't it be that I can just have 100 rate energy or whatever, right? Why can't it be that I stop gaining, I only gain so much a day, but I don't have to worry about what I can do my run whenever I have time. If it's early in the morning to do my whole lane, so be it. But there's no reason why they need to have me checking on this phone all the time other than to try to keep me involved in this game all the time. There's no reason we need to do so much RTA all the time. It should be that you're not, instead of grinding and pressing auto while you're watching TV or while you got a baseball game on, why can't it just be that you do half the amount of RTA to get the same rewards? It doesn't need to be as grindy as it is. And that brings me to my conversation with Jason Bender, who is the creative director of Marvel Strike Force. I'm sure you've seen him on various things, and he's had interactions with the community and interviews. And specifically what I was discussing with him was Alliance War. And I appreciate it. I did put a video out last week, and I asked all of you for your input of what I should be telling the devs. And I will let you know that I did collect your comments. Some of you also said things on my Discord, and I have passed those along. The past, I kind of distilled them down into different points, and I passed them along to the devs. But one major focus of my conversation with Mr. Bender was the issue of how Alliance War is too time-consuming. And, he's like, what would I do to improve war? And I told him, and I'm going to show you my words. Here's what I'd like to see. I would like to see wars where we have 24 to 48 hours to make our attacks, and I put this in bold, it doesn't matter when within the 24 to 48 hour period we make the attacks. So our members don't have to be online at a particular time, and what is valued is not speed, but rather efficiency. For example, when I compete in Star Wars Galaxy of Heroes Grand Arena Championship, I have 24 hours to make my attacks. I can make them in the morning or the next day, and there's no difference. I win if I'm more efficient than my opponent, not faster. That's what I think would be better for Alliance War in MSF. But right now in MSF, the more competitive you get, it becomes a real advantage to have all your members on at the start and rush to the enemy's armory and take out their armory before they can, get going. If you're going up against an alliance where people have something else going on that day, maybe they're all at whatever, a concert, or, like I said, their kid's soccer game, or they got finals that week, they're screwed because you've already done your attacks. You've taken out their armory, and they're at a massive disadvantage, right? It doesn't need to be that way. It could be that essentially, my helicarrier and your helicarrier are basically operating in two different universes, and the armory impacts how well it goes for me on my side, but doesn't impact your side. So you guys proceed at your pace, and I proceed at my pace. My alliance proceeds at our pace, and whoever's more efficient at getting through the helicarrier wins without it being a speed race. And, we went back and forth on this, and one point is, and that's what I said here, that means if somebody's a busy professional, they could play during a break in the day. Because I just think that if you are in the office, for example, or at a factory, or doing anything, whatever your job is. It's not like if you're a plumber, you could be like, hold on, I know I'm under your sink right now. I gotta do my blitz rotation, or geez, my alliance has to do an attack. Like, you have a job and a life, and we had a lot of back and forth about it. I will say that some people have the view that it's exciting to have these races in Alliance War. And I find it exciting too. I find it interesting. But my view on it is, I appreciate that there's a certain fun to full clearing and speed and all of that. But coordinating a lot of busy professionals to be online at the same time, coordinating with each other, is too much for a mobile game. It is not good for the game, and it is not good for our lives. That is my view of Alliance War. I understand that that's fun. And it's just like, look, back when I was much younger, I played vanilla WoW, and I had a lot of fun raiding 3-4 hours a day with a hardcore alliance. But it's not conducive to real life to be able to spend 4 hours straight doing raids. It's just not. And it's not conducive to a real life to be online all the time at various times all day long. It's just not realistic. And this game is going to keep bleeding people now that we are not cooped up during the pandemic. If it can't be something that you can pick up during the day when you have time and do whatever you're going to do. And there are other games that have done it. I used Galaxy Heroes as an example. Clash of Clans has a system that is very that is very conducive to this. I used to play Hearthstone, totally different kind of game, but I never had to be on at a certain time. I played it when I had the time. And here's another example of what I said. You are losing a lot of players who simply don't have time to put their life on hold at a specific moment in time. The issue is having things at certain times rather than letting us choose when to do them during time periods. Now, obviously, the total amount of time commitment to the game matters too. I mean, if they're like, okay, spend 8 hours a day, just chop it up whenever, that's a problem too. But I do think that this issue of having us online all the time in their game on their phone, on the phone, is just too much. And, we are going to continue to bleed players until they figure out how to make this game something that you can play if you want to. I mean, one thing I love about this game is that if you just unlocked a character and you want to test it out in RTA, you can, or in Blitz, you can, or, whatever. I think that's great. I mean, I think, if you want to run Dark Dimension over and over to see if you can be the fastest person in a speed run, you can do it. That's cool. I think that's great that you can play the game as much as you want. But it shouldn't feel like a burden. It should not feel like a second job. And I will tell you, I'm going to make a prediction. I've been hearing some rumors about what they are working on. And basically the message I got from by the way, I will just tell you, the general response I got from Mr. Bender was very positive. He understood what I was saying, and there were some other participants in the conversation, some of whom are now ironically retiring from the game. In part because of the same issue that I raised. And he really heard our input. And he really wants to solve this problem. But it doesn't look like something that they're going to be able to fully solve in the short term. I do think what they will probably do, from what I hearing through the grapevine, is it may be that they change when we get energy to make wars effectively shorter at high levels. In other words, just make it so you can get all your energy within 2 hours or 4 hours. So the entire war, if you're like full clearing both sides, could just be done in 4 hours or done in 2 hours, as opposed to dragging on and on. To me, that's not a good solution, because it just means the side that has more people on for 2 hours for that 2 hour period win. And to me, I think that's in some ways, I'm not sure if it's better or worse, but I think they're going to try to monkey with it to some extent. But this is not going to. They're not going to solve the overall problem in this game in the short term. And I think my fear and my concern is it's too little, too late. Now, I just will say this: I'm not an alarmist. And I'm not one of these people. There's a lot of people who are always crying and complaining about the game. I'm not one of those people. I think, if you don't like a game, you move on to the next game. We're all gamers. We've done that. I've moved on from game to game to game for over 20 years now at this point in my life. And this game, I think, will have a long shelf life. People are still playing Galaxy Heroes 6 years later, and the graphics are crap compared to this game. And frankly, there's a lot of things about that game that are worse. There are some that are better. But what I will just say is that for the health of the game and for the community, the devs need to take a serious look at improving the core experience of the game. So on Tuesday, we're going to get a post that's going to give us some road ahead for the rest of the year. And I'm told that, we know it's going to have Safe Squad updates and stuff. And I'm told there's going to be a lot of improvements. Cerebro's very excited about it. I have no doubt that he and other people at Scopely have put a lot of work into it. But if they don't solve the core issue with this game, I'm afraid that we're going to continue to lose valued members of the community, people who are pillars of the community, who are leading alliances and leading community hubs and helping beginners and doing all the important things that make this community a community. All right, guys, if you like this video, smash that like button, subscribe to this channel. If you have your comments, thoughts about where you think the game should go, what you think should change about Marvel Strike Force, I would be interested. Put them in the comments below. And please, if you do have additional comments or want to get involved in the discussion, go to my Twitch stream. I try to stream most weeknights if I can. And then also check out my Discord. That's linked below as well.